I don't know about you guys, but it's starting to feel, at least to me, that there's some rumors going around about Lamar Jackson possibly being traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, or at least, maybe I should say, the Las Vegas Raiders trying to make a massive, massive move to trade for Lamar Jackson. Mike Florio of NBC published an article about it just a couple of days ago, but he's not the only one who's been talking about it because ESPN wrote an article just yesterday, and they had some crazy, bold predictions in there for the offseason. Lamar Jackson to the Raiders was one of those predictions that a ton of their insiders made. That's what we're going to talk about on today's show. Before we go any further, we need 8 subs off today's video to make sure that number 8 stays in the Charm City. If you have not yet, hit that big red sub button down below. Let's start with Mike Florio from NBC. He was the one who really kind of started getting this ball rolling. He said, look, it's too early to assume Lamar Jackson will absolutely, positively be back with the Ravens in 2026. Whatever the cost, the Raiders arguably need to make a splash. Adding Jackson could lower the free agents down. The key to a possible Jackson trade from the Raiders' perspective is minority owner Tom Brady. Although Brady managed somehow to avoid taking widespread public flack for the abject failure of the franchise in 2025, he's now front and center. If it's going to happen, it could and arguably should move quickly. Now, first off, I want to address something. Mike Florio is an idiot, okay? This is not the first time we've talked about Mike Florio on the show. In fact, the week leading up, I believe it was our Tuesday morning show, maybe even our Monday afternoon show, the week of the game against the Steelers, Week 18. Mike Florio on Sunday Night Football told us Lamar Jackson's 50-50 to play the following Sunday. He said that T.J. Watt will not be playing in Week 18. Guess what? Both of them played. And not only that, both of them were ruled that they were going to be playing by like Wednesday or Tuesday. And so, just because Mike Florio's saying it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed, doesn't mean that it's not going to be anything more than a rumor, but I thought it was still worth us discussing. And then when I saw it from ESPN, that's really kind of when I was like, okay, we got to kick the tires on at least having a video about this. ESPN said, Jerry Fowler specifically, this potential pairing has made its way through the rumor mill, and multiple people I spoke with who track such things used their one bold prediction in this exercise to designate Jackson a Raider. It just seems like there's been some consternation there with Lamar and the Ravens, and this would be the ultimate Mark Davis move. An NFL personnel evaluator said, I'm not even convinced everybody with Vegas would be on board with it, but it would instantly solve their quarterback problems. Now I'm going to push back on this from like the entirety of the perspective of trading away Lamar Jackson. I just don't think that Baltimore is going to do it. Like, think about that, everything that Baltimore's done over this offseason. The second they fired John Harbaugh, that to me was them making it obvious that, hey, if we're going to choose one of these two guys, we're going to go with Lamar Jackson. We're going to go with a 2-time MVP over a coach who's been here for 18 years and hasn't won a Super Bowl in over a decade. And then Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta, they took the mic, and time again, they reiterated how much of this head coach searching process that Lamar Jackson's already involved in or that they want him to be involved in. Steve Bisciotti said, I want him to be my QB. If he doesn't want to do an extension, we throw those $74 million in the void years. Lamar's coming back at the same cap number he was last year. You can play with that money. That's not what we want. We want another window. The owner saying, we want Lamar Jackson to be our QB. Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta. EDC's texting Lamar Jackson after every coaching interview. Steve Bisciotti said that Eric DeCosta texts Lamar, right? Sarah Ellison goes on about this. And then Steve Bisciotti said, I said to Lamar last night when they called me up from Florida to interview finalists, you better get your ass up here too. You can jump on my plane or find another way up there. He said, yes, sir, I think I will, so we'll find out. So he's getting texts after every interview they do, and they want him to be a part of the final interview process with all the finalists. Does that, to you, sound like a team that's about to go trade away their star quarterback? Because to me, it doesn't. Do you think the Ravens would ever trade away Lamar? Give me a yes or a no down below in the comment section. Make sure to go weigh in with your answer. All right, if it is the Raiders, let's talk about it. Because technically nothing is locked in yet. He has not signed that new extension. We could talk all we want about how much we don't think he's going to get traded. It could still happen. Because last time you had contract talks with Lamar Jackson, it was ugly. Ugly enough for him to tweet out that he is requesting a trade for the Baltimore Ravens. Ugly enough for him not to answer their calls, and when they do, say his microphone's broken, so that's why he can't speak. Like, Las Vegas does have the number 1 overall pick. Something that at least has to be decently enticing. Now, the difference is with Baltimore this year from any normal year, they've got the number 14 overall pick. Like last year, they were picking at 27. Las Vegas, they would have had 1. That's a big jump. 14-1 is not as big, even though it's still substantial, and you got the number 1 overall pick. But like when trading away Lamar Jackson, I don't think that's intriguing enough. I've talked to our Raiders host, Mitchell Renz, a ton, and he just seems to think that that number 1 overall pick is going to hold so much weight that you might only need 1 first-rounder. Hell no. Because you've got a sure thing with Lamar Jackson. And sure, maybe he did not have his best season in 2025. That's okay. You know what you have with him. You know the guy who can run the offense. You know the guy who can win, who puts up numbers. It's Lamar freaking Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. A year ago, we were arguing for him to have won a 3rd MVP. And I like Fernando Mendoza. He's a good player. We watched him Monday night lead that team to a national championship, 16-0 season for the Indiana Hoosiers. But he's not a sure thing. You know Lamar Jackson works in the NFL. Fernando Mendoza would be a big, big guess. And I don't think this team, if they've got a sure thing on their hands, wants to go and play the guessing game. So what a trade might look like, I think you got to get the first-round pick in 2026. You got to add in another first-rounder, and then I think you got to throw Max Crosby in the mix as well. And the Raiders would get Lamar Jackson in return. I wouldn't do it. Hell no, I wouldn't do that. What good's Max Crosby if you don't have Lamar Jackson on this team? But that's at least the trade that I feel like would be most probable if this is legit. Would you accept this trade? A for accept or D for decline? Let me know down below in that comment section. Real quick, we do have to give you a word from our awesome sponsor today, our friends over at Ethos. As you know, my wife Kennedy and I got married almost 2 years ago. And I imagine we'll buy a house and start having kids sometime soon. If something were to happen to me, the last thing I want the people I love to worry about is paying the bills. So I trust Ethos to keep them protected. After watching someone close to me go through loss, I saw how quickly grief can turn into financial stress. That experience changed how I think about protecting my family. Life insurance isn't about expecting the worst, but it's about making sure the people you love are supported no matter what. That's why I recommend life insurance through Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. Application times, of course, may vary. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Don't believe me? Ethos has 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 3,000 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/NFL Daily. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get your free quote up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times and rates may vary. Again, I hear what you guys are saying. A lot of you. Not the majority of you, but enough of you that we have to discuss it. You're upset about Lamar Jackson's season. You might feel that he quit on you. I don't think he did. You might feel like he took a massive step back. And while 2025 wasn't what we were expecting, we do have to realize he, A, only played in 13 games, and B, was injured for the vast majority of this season. In fact, he left the Week 4 game against Kansas City with a hamstring injury and then was on the injury report like every single week of the season from there on out. Dealing with that hamstring, the knee, the ankle, the toe, everything, okay? And so he looked a little human, but it did not make me doubt him. It did not make me have any reservations. In fact, if I had a quarterback ranking right now, I'm still putting him squarely in the top 4, along with everybody else's top 4. Allen, Burrow, Mahomes. Lamar Jackson's still in that conversation, okay? He is the future of this team. You still have a good roster. If you deal him away to Las Vegas, I think that'd be a massive mistake. And if he wants to go to Las Vegas, I frankly think that would be a massive mistake for him. Because that's not only where quarterbacks go to die, that is just frankly where players go to die. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Not the only time you'll see us today. In fact, you'll see us 2 more times if you subscribe and get those notifications on, because we'll be going live today, 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central, our hour-long weekly live show. That's going to be this afternoon, this evening. Then we'll put our first cut out right after that live show is over. We'll be talking a little bit about this head coach search, mailbag. Going to be a ton of fun. Make sure to join us. Follow me on social. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on those notices. That way you can have fun with us later.